Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbana zidna ilma. Allahumma faqihna fid din. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Subhanallahi al-azim. Allahu akbar kabira. Walhamdulillahi kathira. Wa subhanallahi bukratan wa asila. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد. So here we are with our session number 2 for our class Power of Dua. I will start the class today with a hadith of our beloved Prophet narrated by Abu Huraira radiyallahu ta'ala anha. The best day on which the sun has risen is Friday. On it, Adam alayhi salam was created. On it, he was made to enter paradise. On it, he was expelled from it, and the hour will not be established except on Friday. So this is from Sahih. This is a Sahih hadith reported in Jami al-Tirmidhi and also in Sahih Muslim. So beautiful hadith. So it tells us about the blessings of day of Friday. So let's start our review and see how much we have retained from our last session. So dua number 1 that we just covered in our last session, Rabbi Zidni Ilma, is from Surah Al-Fatiha, Mulk or Taha. Barakallahu Feek. Surah Taha. How is the sequence of events important in the story of Adam alayhi salam? Why do you think we went over the story of Adam alayhi salam, and I taught you, right after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam alayhi salam, what was the first thing he was, what was the first event that happened? Let me take you back to those verses. Yes, he taught him names, right? So he taught him names. So the sajda. So why do you think the angels were made to prostrate to him? Do you know what is the idea? Why? What is the reason why angels were made to prostrate to him? Why Allah Subhanahu wa Taala ordered them to prostrate to him? Because of the knowledge. Because of the knowledge. He said, he presented the names to the angel. They said that, we don't have any knowledge. You are the only one who knows the hidden of the heavens and the earth. And, we have no knowledge except what you have taught us. So on the basis of knowledge. So if we do not know why the sajda happened, we are missing this complete story, right? So because of knowledge, on the basis of knowledge, he was, made, superior to the angels as well. So if we do not gain knowledge, are we any better than animals? Without knowledge, a human being is no better than an animal. They are the same as an animal because they drink, eat, procreate, and that's it. But a human being not only does all that, but is knowledgeable too, right? So keep that in mind, inshallah. So the next thing is, who remembers the 7 meanings of dua? We learned that dua can have 7 meanings. The word dua can have 7 meanings. If everyone can just give one, that will be good enough. Yes, it means worship, ibadah. A call, yes, absolutely. A talb or sual in Arabic. A request, yes, absolutely. A praise or madh, right? Seeking of aid, right? A question, absolutely. Just like Musa alayhi salam's example was there. Alhamdulillah. So everyone got it. So 7 reasons. So the next thing I will ask you is, what is the age limit for seeking knowledge? Can somebody give me the limit? So no limit. Everyone understood it? The next question is, seeking divine knowledge is mandatory, optional, or disliked? We should not be seeking it. only Imam is good, should be seeking the knowledge. Rest of us, are exempt. We don't need. Very well done. So it is mandatory upon all of us, every Muslim, according to the hadith narrated by Anas ibn Malik, right? So we have an evidence from hadith literature that it is mandatory. Okay, even if you do not have something written in Quran, the hadith, you have to look at the hadith for that. You need to go check your hadith, because both Quran and hadith are divine, right? Because Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not talk out of whims, as as quoted in Quran, وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ, and he did not talk out of whims. He just did not say anything without thinking. Everything was, being revealed to him or inspired to him in some form. Okay. So the word zidni, what is the meaning of zidni? Increase me. Barakallahu fiqh, Sister Aisha, Sister Rayan, Sister Javeria, Sister Jabin. To increase me. Okay, increase me. Remember, increase me is the right answer. Okay. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention. So the question in Quran from Surah Zumar was, Prophet ﷺ was asked to ask people, you say, هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون? Say, are those who know equal to those who know not? What do you think? The person of knowledge is the same as the person without any knowledge? That's that is, if I asked you, are they equal? Are they one and the same? No, this is a rhetorical question. There are questions in Quran, and you will see a lot of rhetoric in Quran that does not demand a yes or no answer. It is just, a negative, it is just to convey a negative connotation. Okay, this verse, it has a negative connotation, like, that this means that they are not, this is not even a question. It is just a way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling us that those who know are not the same as those who do not. Okay, just keep that in mind. So I hope this was all clear. So let's start with today's session, and alhamdulillah, I think that was enough of a review. And today we are going to learn the types of dua. Okay, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and let's focus on whatever is coming now. Okay, so there are two types of duas that you will come across. The first type of dua is dua of mas'ala. Mas'ala has a root letter, this word, mas'ala, has a root letter, Sin Hamza Lam. Sin Hamza Lam, you will see a word as well that you very commonly used in Urdu as well, sawal. So the root letters of sual are the same as mas'ala. So this dua is a dua of asking, where you are asking for something in particular from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes when we make a dua, there is a specific thing that we are asking for, as in this case, Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasana. So we are in this dua being taught from Quran in Surah Al-Baqarah that ask, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us to ask him to grant us in this world what is good, and what is good in the hereafter as well. Okay, so there is a specific thing that we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then comes a second type of dua, that is dua al-ibadah, dua of worship. Okay, so when we say Alhamdulillah, Subhanallah, we are making a dua, but it does not have an explicit question or an explicit thing with, that we are asking from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is it something understood, or there is any confusion about it? Let me see if we have understood it. Type 1 if you have. Okay, so if I asked you, I've asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant me righteous child. What kind of a dua it is going to be? Type 1, type 2. Is it dua of mas'ala, or dua ul ibadah, type 1. Okay, now I'm saying la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi. What kind of dua it is? There is la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi means there is no power except for, all power belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I have not asked anything, right? These two forms of duas are inherently related to one another. Every dua al-mas'ala intrinsically contains dua al-ibadah. Remember that, okay? And every dua al-ibadah necessitates a dua al-mas'ala. When we are going to say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, it necessitates from us that when we have any problem or anything in our life that is bothering us or any need, because every praise belongs to only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is deserving of all the praise. So we should only and only ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for anything and everything. Okay? Both these forms of dua are inherently related to one another. And beautiful example of that is seen in Surah Al-Fatiha. How do you start Surah Al-Fatiha? Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin. If I asked you, whatever I have recited so far, what kind of dua it is going to be? Is it dua al-mas'ala or ibadah? Very well done, right? Type 2, the dua al-ibadah, right? Because I'm just praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and I know only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ability to grant me because he is the only khaliq, malik, mudabbir. When it is going to be ihdina sirat al-mustaqim, what do you think? Type 1, right? Dua al-masala. Now I am asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a specific thing. Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim, sirat al-lazina anamta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim. So from there to the end, I am asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a very specific question. So it leads to the type 1 dua, right? Now I'm asking something very, very specific. Okay? But don't you think they are both related? They are both, hand in hand with each other. And how? I did not recite only one verse from Surah Al-Fatiha. If you can see, the only verse that I did not recite was, let me show you, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. When you see this verse, what is Iyyaka na'budu? What do you think? Only you we worship. So it is what? It is all about ibadah. And wa iyyaka nasta'in, what is it about? Only you we ask for help. It is talking about type 1. Make sense or no? Say type Y if it makes sense, right? So every dua, whatever dua you are going to make from now onwards, remember it is going to be 99% of times it will contain connotation of both of these types of dua. It will, they both go hand in hand, okay? They're not separate from each other. Okay, so next, what I need to tell you is today we are going to go over some of the excellence and the benefits of the dua. So dua is an act that is most noble in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it was narrated from Abu Huraira radiyallahu ta'ala anha that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said there is nothing more noble to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the glorified, than dua. Why I am bringing all these hadiths and verses to you? Because just like our Prophet, we all should try to say things out of knowledge and from authentic sources. Because my logic and whatever I think, it does not hold any weight. But Quran and Hadith are the most precious blessings on the face of this earth that we have right now. And we have to maximally benefit ourselves from them, inshallah. So then dua is the best act of worship. As we have already learned, a dua'u huwal ibadah. right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, and your Lord says, call upon me, I will respond to you. Indeed, those who disdain my worship will enter hell contemptible, like very debased, very humiliated. Okay. So if we are not asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is not good. We need to make sure that we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we make dua to him all the time. Dua is among the greatest acts of worship, is the best way to bring a worshipper closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when dua is an ibadah, we need to keep in mind the manner and procedures of dua must be taken from Quran and Sunnah. When it comes to manner and etiquette of dua, we should only follow Quran and Sunnah, and this is a self-analysis, kind of a thing where we all need to analyze ourselves. Is our dua always according to Quran and Sunnah, or do we follow the proper etiquette of Quran and Sunnah, or have we fallen into innovations that were not taught to us, that were never followed by Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his Sahaba, who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was pleased with. Dua is an essence of worship. So a dua'u mukhul ibadah. It is an essence of the worship. Dua is the sign of one's iman. When you are making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make sure that it means that you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah exists and He is the true Lord. And this act denotes Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, and that and you understand and you acknowledge that He is the only one who deserves to be asked and worshipped, which is Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. And you also affirm that He has the perfect attributes and names, and for Him and He is the only one who is capable of responding to the dua of His slave. To make dua is to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked His beloved Prophet to ask all of us to call upon Him. And He said in Quran, as we just have already read the part of this verse, that and your Lord says, call upon me, I will respond to you. Allah is close to the mankind, or to the one who is making dua. So we have learned this verse from Surah Al-Baqarah, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي أَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. So every time you are making dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very, very near to you. Remember that. Dua is an indication of Allah's generosity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Ar-Rahman, whoever is within the heaven and earth asks Him. Every day He's bringing about a matter. So why should we shy? Why should we be shying away from asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If everything without intelligence and with intelligence is asking Him already. Dua is a sign of humility. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and your Lord says, call upon me, I will respond to you. So if you do not call upon Him, that means that this is out of arrogance. Those who do not call upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should bear in mind that this is a sign of arrogance. Dua repels Allah's anger. In the hadith narrated by Abu Huraira, Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, indeed, he who does not ask Allah, He subhanahu wa ta'ala gets angry with him. So dua is the cause of being saved from the fire. Leaving dua is a sign of laziness. Dua is the only act that repels predestination, qadr. Dua is the only act that changes qadr. Dua is the sign of wisdom. Dua is beloved by Allah. Dua is a characteristic of the believer. The reward of dua is guaranteed. Dua is the cause of victory. Dua is the sign of brotherhood. When you make dua, ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم. So in this dua, We are not only seeking forgiveness for ourselves, but also for our brothers in Islam, right? And sisters are included as well. So, and those ones who have preceded us in Iman. And we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to not put any hatred or any resentment towards them who have believed already. Dua is the weapon of weak and one who is wronged. Dua is the cure of all diseases. Dua makes one more optimistic. Dua opens up a dialogue with the Creator. Dua is one of the easiest acts of worship. Dua is not confined to a certain place or a certain time or a certain routine or mode. Rather, all persons, anyone, male, female, young, old, rich, poor, scholar, worshipper, can make dua at all times, in all places. Like for Hajj, you have to be in a specific place. You have to go to a specific place to perform Hajj. To fast in Ramadan, the first fast are in a specific time to pray. And when we pray, we have to follow a certain time for that. But in case of dua, you can do it at all times. All that is needed is an attentive heart and a humble soul. So today's dua that we were going to cover is Rabbi shrah li sadri yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi, my Rabb, ishrah, you open up, li, for me, sadri, my chest, yassir, and you make easy, and you facilitate, li, for me, my matter, amri, my matter, wahlul, and you untie, uqdah, knot, min lisani, of my tongue, yafqahu, so they understand, qawli, my words. I will go over it again so that you all know what is the word to word for this dua. Rabbi, my Rabb, ishrah, open up, li, for me, sadri, my chest, yassir, and you make easy, and you facilitate, li, for me, amri, my matter, wahlul, and you untie, uqdah, gira or knot, min lisani, my tongue, yafqahu qawli, so that they understand my words. The running translation for this dua is as I'm going to say, my Lord, expand for me my chest and make and ease for me my task and untie the knot of my tongue that they may understand my speech. मेरे रब मेरा सीना खोल दे और मेरे काम को मेरे लिए आसान फरमा दे और मेरी जुबान की गिरा सुलझा दे ताकि लोग मेरी बात समझ सकें. So this dua is heard and said before any khutbah that you must have heard, or in most of the khutbahs that you go to, right? So why do we need this dua? So to start from the beginning, to be on the straight path or the path of Allah, we have to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enable us to be on his path. And we have to be very specific what we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We need to understand our deen to be on the straight path. And for that, we need focus, concentration, good memory, and finally, clarity of speech to deliver the message of Allah, to share the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with others. For that, in Quran, we find this beautiful dua, Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. So this dua is again from Surah Taha, and we just learned another one from Surah Taha, Rabbi Zidni Ilma. So this one is again from Surah Taha. So the situation when this dua was made by Prophet Musa alayhi salam was, when he was given prophethood, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him to go to Fir'aun. اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى. Tughyan is a rebellion. It is to exceed bounds, and because Fir'aun transgressed, exceeded all bounds by oppressing, enslaving, and torturing Bani Israel, and by claiming to be God, and by demanding that people should worship him. Therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked Musa alayhi salam to go to him. Was it an easy task to go to Fir'aun? No, it sure was not easy, right? Everyone agrees, or is there any disagreement to that? It was a very difficult task. So Musa alayhi salam, when he was given this task, he did not say, I cannot do it, I do not have ability for it, I should have not been made to go through this, because he was a righteous soul. He knew that Allah already knows our capability, already knows how capable we are to do a certain task. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he gives a task to his slave, then he subhanahu wa ta'ala also equips him. So whenever you are made to go through a situation, always remember, you can go through it, you can deal with it. If you did not have ability, he would have never put you in that situation. Allah ya'lamu man khalaq. Does he not know his creation? When people complain about the situation, circumstances, challenges that come their way and make statements like, it's too much for me. Basically, at that time, remember, my dear sisters, we are objecting Allah's decisions. We are implying that whatever Allah has decreed for us is not right. We are actually criticizing the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are critiquing his judgment and wisdom. Should we ever do that? No, absolutely not. Whenever we are made to go through a test, always say, Rabbi shrahli sadri wa yassirli amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Then just focus on this word, ishrah, sharah sadr, expansion of chest. Why do we need that? Sharaha literally means to cut meat, and is to cut meat in a way that it gets bigger. When here we are seeing that Musa alayhi salam is asking to open his chest, to expand his chest. So why does he need that expansion of chest? Because he felt that his chest was constricted. He did not feel the capacity. He's saying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I don't feel capacity or courage inside me to do this job, so please expand my chest so that I am able to do my best. I'm able to fulfill my responsibility. I am able to carry this responsibility with ihsan. So whenever we feel any fear inside of us that we are not capable of doing certain tasks, this dua is going to be very helpful. It is going to help us, comprehend whatever we were not able to comprehend before. So if you find memorizing certain duas, now it's a longer dua compared to Rabbi Zidni Ilma. Most of you are very familiar with Rabbi Zidni Ilma, but many of you may have not memorized this dua. So when you are reading this dua 7 times after the session, make sure that you reflect that you were not made to go through this without any reason. Another reason why this expansion of chest is important is, if your chest is already closed, will it, if think of it like a bottle of water that is closed and has a lid on top. If you want to add more water, will it ever enter that? To have more knowledge, you have to have this expansion of chest. Because if my chest is already closed, it will not be able to I would say, it will not be able to take in any additional information. If I'm, too full of myself, I'm saying that, no, I already know everything, then I will not be able to benefit from any, or any more form of knowledge. So it's very important that we approach knowledge with shara sadr. Sometimes what happens is that, openness of heart is required on, this openness of heart not only applies to a listener, but it also applies to the speaker as well. When we need to approach people for Quran or anything, we have to have, you know, vastness of heart, for the reason that, we should not be approaching people with preconceived notion that, they are not never going to listen. And this applies to me very well. So, when it apply, when it comes to a listener, if you already think that, I already know everything, then, there is no point, right? It's not going to be something of benefit to you. And also we know that, for fixing the diseases of heart, what does doctor do? What do? They open up the chest, right? We have open for, when the heart is diseased, the chest is cut open for it to be fixed. Similarly, we need to have this expansion for the, you know uh, these intangible diseases of the heart, like, if your heart is already filled with hypocrisy, jealousy, hatred, both kina, doubts, confusion about religion, we need that to be, out of our heart. And to fix that, we need to have expansion of our chest. And when it comes to yassirli, so it not only means to make it easy, but it means to facilitate it for me. Whatever my task is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala facilitate, make it something that does not, remain, I don't perceive it being very difficult for myself. Then Musa alayhi salam goes on to say, Wahlul uqdatam min lisani. Musa alayhi salam is basically asking for fluency in the speech. Musa alayhi salam had some problem with his speech. He was not very, fluent in his speech, and that's why in other places in Quran you see um, him saying, وَأَخِي Harun huwa afsahu minni lisanan. And my brother Harun is more fluent than me in speech. وَيُضِيقُ صَدْرِي وَلَا يَنْطَلِقُ لِسَانِي. And that my chest will tighten and my tongue will not be fluent. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed this responsibility of prophethood upon him and asked him to go to the court of Pharaoh, he felt, he had those emotions. He did not phone a friend. He did not call his family to share his problems with them. He immediately turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he immediately accepted his weakness in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help him with this impairment in his speech. So do you not think that, if Harun alayhi salam was more fluent than him, why not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose him first? Why not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed the responsibility of this prophethood upon him first, and instead of Musa alayhi salam? So remember one thing, that speaking fluently or eloquence in speech is a good skill to have when you are delivering a message to people, but it is not the only skill that is required. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala still chose Musa alayhi salam, because when a person speaks from the heart and they speak with knowledge, then even if they have an accent, their words, are going to still hit you. They will still penetrate the hearts of the listeners. They will be strong enough to melt the hearts of the fellow believers. Correct intention and sincerity adds power to the words. Always remember. Always remember. So don't focus on, how I'm going to speak, and I have a thick accent, or should I just speak in Urdu, or should I speak in some other form of, I'm saying speak in Urdu because I am, my primary language is Urdu. So, but it should not limit us, because all that matters is sincerity and right intention. Allah looks at our hearts. Always remember that. And just see that, why is Musa alayhi salam asking for this fluency in speech? So that he, is he asking it to leave a good impression of people, or is he afraid he would embarrass himself? No, he is asking for this clarity in speech so that people understand so that people understand him. He's only and only asking for a very simple reason. And this yafqahu comes from word fiqh. And fiqh means deep understanding, full comprehension. So understanding that translates into action. That, this understanding should be the goal of every Muslim. And again, if you read Quran, because I'm running short of time and I have to, take your reflections as well, you will see that he will keep on asking. He will then go on to ask that, you make Harun alayhi salam partner with me, and you strengthen me with my brother, and you make him partner in my matter, so that we glorify you and we remember you a lot and a lot. So before I end the session, I will just I take your reflections. I will just want to share these action points with you. So whatever you have learned today, share this lesson with your loved ones again. Read this dua every day 7 times, and share on your social media one of the excellence and benefits of dua. So now I'm going to take your reflections. I would love to hear from you. Sister Sadia Tariq was not able to share last time, so I hope she's here today and she can share her reflections. So I will start with her. Sister Sadia, are you here? Can you unmute yourself? Is she here? Okay, so I will take whosoever raised hand, so you can feel free to raise your hands and share, my dear sisters. What have you learned? Sister Yasmin Ahmed has unmuted herself, so let's hear from her. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear sister.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I learned that, I don't know what to say. I learned that we should, whenever we make dua, we should believe in Allah, so we feel closer to Him.
Absolutely, I agree 110%, and actually 200%. It's very well said. Barakallahu feek, my dear sister. Sister Sabiha, do you want to go next?
There are different types of dua, like dua of masala dua of asking, in which we ask Allah Ta'ala for special things, and sometimes we praise Allah. This is also a type of dua, and one type is al ibadah, in which this is a dua of worship, like when we say Alhamdulillah. In this way, we praise to Allah Ta'ala, and at the same time, we are making dua.
Barakallahu feek. Very well done. I really appreciate you sharing your knowledge with us. And if someone wants to share in Urdu, please go. Feel free to do so.
And can I say something?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, dear sister.
Dua is the easiest act of worship, and when servant makes dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gets happy from his servant, and the servant knows that my Lord is there and he will respond to my supplication, and only one Lord will hear us, and only Lord will be listening to us and able to do things for us.
Alhamdulillah. Barakallahu feek, my dear sister. Very well understood and shared.
Yes, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
जी मैं बात करूंगी दुआ से रिगार्डिंग दुआ इबादा और सवाल. दुआ इस दुआ ही होती है, आप चाहे इबादा की सूरत में करें या आप सवाल की सूरत में करें. दुआ हम हमेशा अल्लाह से करते हैं और अल्लाह ही वही करता है जो हमारे लिए चाहता है, और वही बेहतर होता है जो अल्लाह चाहता है. जी, तो मैं इससे एक हदीसे कुर्सी उर्दू में मैं एक शेयर करूंगी आप सिस्टर से. एक तेरी चाहत है, एक मेरी चाहत है, होगा वही जो मेरी चाहत है. अगर तूने सुपुर्द कर दिया अपने आप को उसमें जो मेरी चाहत है, तो मैं तुझे दूंगा वो भी जो तेरी चाहत है। अगर तूने मुखालफत की उसकी जो मेरी चाहत है, तो मैं तुझे थका दूंगा उसमें जो तेरी चाहत है। फिर होगा वही जो मेरी चाहत है। सो ये भी एक दुआ की ही रिफ्लेक्शन है कि हमें अल्लाह पर ही ट्रस्ट करना चाहिए और अल्लाह ही है जो हमारी सुनता है सब दुआएं।
बिल्कुल, no doubt about it. बेशक, indeed.
Assalamu alaikum.
जज़ाकल्लाह खैर।
Jazakallah khair, sister, for sharing. Ameen भैया की। वालेकुम अस्सलाम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू।
I just wanted to say, whenever we make dua, we should believe that Allah will answer our dua. Inshallah.
Absolutely. Sister Faiza, you have something to share. You can unmute yourself. Faiza Abdul Rab.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू, dear sister.
जी जो दुआ के बारे में जो भी आपने कहा वो सब चीजें बहुत खूबसूरत हैं, सबने एक्सप्लेन भी बहुत अच्छा किया। मुझे ये चीज भी बहुत अच्छी लगी कि जैसे हम दुआ मांगते हैं तो हमें एक अंदर से ये तसल्ली होनी चाहिए जिससे हम मांग रहे हैं ना, वो कितना बड़ा है, कितना फराग दिल है, कितना रहम दिल है, इस उसकी जो बड़ाई है ना, उसको हमारे ज़हन में होना चाहिए। हम तो थोड़ी सी चीज मांगते हैं, अल्लाह सुब्हाना ताला तो बेतहाशा हमें अता फरमाते हैं। तो जब भी हम दुआ मांगे ना, अल्लाह ताला की वुसअत को ज़हन में जरूर रखें। ये नहीं कि मैं एक चीज मांग लूं और इसके बाद मैं कहूँ इट्स एनफ फॉर मी। तो बहुत जो कुछ भी मांगने अल्लाह ताला से ढेरों ढेर मांगे, अल्लाह ताला के खजानों में कोई कमी नहीं।
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Subhanallah. Barakallahu feek, Sister Faiza. Really appreciate you. Always.
जज़ाकल्लाह।
Bhaiya ji. Anyone else? Sister Abi, do you want to share something? So I think Sister Rasha. Go for it, Sister Rasha.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
This is a very lovely dua that I always hear it whenever in Jumu'ah prayers, whenever I hear something online or in any lecture that we do. And I'm always wondering is like why they keep repeating the same one over and over again. And now thank you for explaining it. And it's may Allah expand our heart to accept more and more of his teaching and to get as close as possible that we can to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And may Allah also faqihna fi deen, and also to get us to the highest level of teaching, that we're so close that we don't want to go back. May Allah always bless this gathering as well and teach us as many dua as possible to use in our daily life. Thank you.
Ameen. Barakallahu feek. Really appreciate. Sister Ghazala, please go for it.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Walaikum.
I just wanted to say, whatever dua you make, just remember to say the Durood Sharif before and after, because when we read the Durood Sharif before making our duas, the angels take it to the skies, to the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So,
Subhanallah. Barakallahu feek. Barakallahu feek. Really appreciate you, my dear sister. Always. Sister Nausheen Imran. I saw your hand raised, Sister Nausheen. Do you want to share something with us? Okay.
Sister, I just have a question. The last sister, she said to mention something. What it was? You can explain it?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. It is Durood that Sister Ghazala was mentioning. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad. Oh, there are different, forms like Prophet has
Okay,
taught.
I just didn't know the name of it. It's like I never heard that word before. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so proud of you that you did not hesitate. So this is, what we are learning in this course. That do not hesitate, do not shy do not feel shy that, I'm asking this very simple question, because no question is a simple question. You may have helped so many who, who don't know what is the name for, what is this thing being called, because, not everyone calls durood, so there could be different names for it. It is, just be called salawat on Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in other languages. So that I really appreciate your question, sister. Okay, so with that, I will have to end the session. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. See you all next Friday, the best day, inshallah, with another dua.